What if season three did exactly what we thought it was going to do? Somehow they made it worse than season two. Marvel has a tendency since season one to make all the what if stories much more complicated than they need to instead of just making it super simple. Because that's all we need. We just need to be really simple. We don't need these super drawn out, obscure stories. But whether you're a big MCU fan or if you're just curious about the show, stick around as we're going to go into each episode so you don't have to watch it and you'll still be caught up with the MCU. Starting with episode one, what if Hulk fought the Mecha Avengers? And conceptually, giant robots fighting monsters is super cool. And this is the best episode of the season. And from here, it's kind of all downhill. But one glaring issue with this, if you put all these super powered beings into giant robots, they're not really superheroes anymore, as like they can't use any of their powers. Like, what's the point of being Moon Knight if you're just in a giant mech robot? You can have anyone in a giant mech robot. Point is, you're Moon Knight. You can't do any of your stuff in a robot. So that was just a bit weird, and I don't know if that was perhaps the most well thought out thing. But I did like at least the message behind it with Sam Wilson in Hulk. Probably would have chosen a different hero to lead the Mech Avengers, but they really want to push forward all their new projects onto us. So there's going to be a lot of characters coming up that are coming out into the MCU very soon. So they really wanted to push Captain America 4. So we got Sam Wilson here instead of anyone else would have fit better with Bruce Banner. I don't think Sam Wilson and Bruce Banner have ever been friends, or maybe have even talked in the MCU till this point. So it really was forced. From there, I feel like it got a little repetitive in this episode. Seeing what happens when Bruce Banner separates from the Hulk, I did like. I thought that was really good, and it is such a shame that the most character development we've gotten for Bruce Banner and the Hulk is in a 25-minute what if episode instead of 30 plus MCU movies. That was so disappointing because here they actually gave him character development by separating the man and the monster, and that was fun to see. Fun watching Bruce cope with it. But why just they didn't do that in the MCU? That would have been good. I would have really liked that. They could have done a movie off of that.
Instead, we got Professor Hulk. Yeah, who the hell doesn't like giant battling robots? I agree. This is the best episode by far. Doesn't make the season great. I always like when they go in depth into the Hulk because he's a great character. There's a lot of, Jekyll and Mr. Hyde there. But sadly, this is the best we've gotten of him since the Edward Norton movie. I'll stand by that. So that's kind of lame. And then, yeah, Griffin is right. It goes downhill from here. Jumping right into episode two. What if Agatha went to Hollywood? I mean, that title says it all. I didn't like the Agatha show. There was maybe one or two episodes that I was like, okay, this is leaning somewhere. But this episode, the premise of it, I was bored. It just didn't do it for me because it's very much like the Agatha show. So as soon as I saw the title, I was like, ah, man, wasn't horrible, but it was worse than the previous episode. So that's lame because the previous episode in both of our minds, that was the best episode. So for me, it just didn't do it. There was a lot of, you know, theatrics in it, of course, given the fact that she's trying to gain some power by. I did like the premise though,
Yeah.
this celestial being, and she's trying to take the powers. I was like, okay, if they would have done it differently from her, like doing this whole Hollywood thing, maybe I would have got into it a little bit more.
Yeah, I went in this with super low expectations. I did enjoy this episode, not as much as the previous episode, but I really enjoyed the concept, as Edward said. And this episode, I feel like they did a good job with the Eternals. I like seeing the Eternals here, and somehow they made the Eternals better than the Eternals movie. I liked what they did with the
True.
characters here. Yeah, I understand why Edward doesn't like it. There's a musical number that's very much big, flashy. It's Hollywood, but I think the premise is what really engaged me. I like seeing the old Howard Stark actor. I like seeing Jarvis, and I think if they continued with this a little bit more in the later episodes, I feel like it would have been a little bit better. because they set up this big character and did nothing with her. But honestly, I like this one. I would go as far as say this was my second favorite for the season. I think that it had good writing behind it and it made a lot of sense for the character. Whereas like in the previous episode, Sam Wilson has no sense being with Bruce Banner, whereas Agatha trying to steal the powers of a celestial game just because that's she's who she is. She's power hungry because it made sense for the character to do. And next episode, episode 3, what if the Red Guardian stopped the Winter Soldier? And this kind of gave us a taste of what the Thunderbolts movie could be like with David Harbour and Sebastian Stan working together. This is a much simpler what if episode, and I do appreciate that. I like it's a simple premise, like just what if Winter Soldier didn't kill the Starks and they need someone to stop him. Red Guardian is active at the time. It makes sense. I'm okay with that. I'm still not a huge fan of Red Guardian. I think he's just kind of a dumb character. I know that's kind of how he's written to be, but I'm not a fan of the Black Widow movie, and perhaps that rubbed off on me a bit here. I I did like the interaction and how both characters grew by the end of the episode, and we did see some previous MCU characters we haven't seen in a bit, namely Obadiah Stane and Goliath. But I feel like it was very, I don't know if low level is the word I'm looking for here, but it's simple. And that I applaud it for, but perhaps they needed a bit more substance to this episode instead of what we got.
This shit is lame. I mean, stay to the end to hear our thoughts on what we think some what if episodes should have been, because allegedly this is it. If some of you guys enjoy this and it gets good numbers, we'll get a season 4, undoubtedly. But the idea of the Red Guardian, as Griff says, I think David Harbour is amazing, but he's written in a way where he's essentially Frankenstein from Creature Commandos. He's just this big, dumb, bumbling idiot. Don't care for that too much. It could have been anyone else. So the title didn't do it for me. The episode, he's a powerful character. So if they just made him less dumb, I think I could enjoy it more. But you know, um, just not great. And leading right into it, talking about bad shit. Episode 4, this is the worst. I mean, I saw every episode. This is the worst episode. It's titled "What If Howard Duck Got Hitched," and he lands probably, and beauty's in the eye of the beholder. But Darcy, Darcy's fucking hot. She's played by Kat Dennings. That girl is gorgeous, drop dead gorgeous. Could have anyone in the MCU could have landed her. Howard the damn Duck lands her and puts a baby in that whole the first 6 minutes of this. I was ready to just bounce. I wish this would have been the final episode. The title is dumb as all hell for too many reasons. First of all, I don't give two shits about Howard the Duck. And then they go and ruin Darcy for me because he lands her. Dude, that's like the ugliest kid in your high school landing the hottest chick in your high school. That's the equivalent to that. It's, it's a dumb episode. It's an unnecessary episode. Like, who the hell cares about, like, it could have been so many things. And Griffin and I have some great ideas, but to see this,
It was here for one purpose. It was here to introduce Birdie. Birdie is a new character that hasn't been in the comics. It was introduced purely for this show. Terrible character. We'll get into that later. But this episode is awful. Darcy has a baby when all the stars align. So every person and their mother is after this goddamn child. It's ridiculous and it makes no sense. It's not good, and it's supposed to be a very comedic episode, and it's not funny at all. I can't believe they got Tom Hiddleston to come back for this episode. It's fucking awful. To me, given everything we know, this episode should have been replaced with a Storm episode. What if the Storm was the god of thunder? That should have been this episode. It felt like they just cut an episode. They should have cut this episode instead of the Storm episode. It should have been here because fuck this episode so much. It is so bad. If you do watch the season, skip it. Please skip this episode. It's we're making it sound bad, and I guarantee you it's worse. It's so bad. And then going to the next one, what episode 5? What if the Emergence destroyed the Earth? And just as a brief background, in case you've missed it, the Emergence is when the Eternal that's being birthed in the Earth, Tiamat, destroys the Earth upon its birth. So the Earth is completely shattered, and the main character here is Riri Williams. Again, pushing forth the Ironheart show. But I think my issue with this episode is the episode itself is fine. I think it's okay. I don't think it's a bad episode. I don't think it's a great episode, but in this episode, the Watcher says that every iteration of Riri Williams always tries and always fails and ends up going down the same path. He intervenes one time here, only for this Riri Williams. So then how are we supposed to enjoy the MCU's version of Riri Williams? If we know what her fate's going to be and we're just waiting for it to happen, I feel like we're not going to get anything satisfying with that character. So that does worry me. I do like the introduction of Jason Isaac's character. I love him as a voice actor. I was very happy to see his name in the title, or in the credits here. I do like the idea of Quentin Beck taking over the world. I'm a huge fan of Mysterio. Again, this one I feel like is a good concept, but somehow went completely off the rails. Yeah, what if the Emergence destroyed the Earth? Great concept. We could have gone something apocalyptic, almost very similar to Mad Max, but instead we got Quentin Beck in the Iron Legion. I don't understand how those two dots connect here. In the end, this is kind of just an episode just to further the plot along, and I feel like they could have done better because from the beginning we are told Riri Williams always loses. Lo and behold, she loses, and we're supposed to be surprised and sad by that. This it could have been better. Could have been a lot worse, but it could have been better. I just don't feel like the title fit what we got.
I just don't care about really Williams. I don't. The whole Iron Heart, she's just, and it's not a race thing. It's just she's as smart as Tony Stark was in Iron Man 1. She builds all this crap in her garage.
In 6 minutes.
I find her to be a boring character even in the comics. I found her to be boring in Black Panther 2. I just don't care. It's kind of like Titanic, we knew it was gonna sink, so like what was really the point of sitting there for 3 hours? I mean, if she's gonna fail, then all right, just put in another hero. So yeah, it just didn't work for me. The premise is great though. I mean, it's very dark side takes over the earth type thing, but they kind of screwed it up for me. The next one, episode 6, What If 1872? Uh, I do like Westerns. I just don't. Shang-Chi and Kate Bishop. I love Kate Bishop. Griff loves Kate Bishop. Then, I mean, this is the best shit that they could have thought up. They have a team of well-paid writers, and these 8 episodes are the best shit that they could have come up with. Like, seriously? Like, just go down the line and read the episodes. Like, what if Howard the Duck got hitched? What if 1872? You could have done, I'll save it, but fuck. It just it didn't do it for me.
Again, they're pushing out their new projects. And this one again is pushing out Ironheart because we were introduced to the Hood, but also at the same time not really. They just had the Hood in name and they had the Hood, but not the Hood character. As Edward said, Kate Bishop amazing. I do like Shang-Chi. This is also a comic. I'm not a huge fan of the comic either. I did like seeing Walter Goggins back. And I feel like this episode was a bit predictable with its twist. I mean, you could call it from the first 5 minutes when the Watcher starts giving his spiel. I don't think this one's bad. I think it has a lot of potential if we saw more of the universe of what if the superheroes took place in during the westerns. If we saw just more of the 1872 universe instead of just two characters, like Like think back to season 2. It wasn't a great episode, but what if 1602, where they had so many more characters in 1602? I feel like that would have been better if they did more characters here and just had a different story. Sure, you can push the hood, but go with a different angle from it. And then episode 7, what if the Watcher disappeared? I feel like this is probably one of the longest parts of the video for episode 7 and 8, because this is the end. This is the finale. And I feel like the team we got here makes absolutely no sense. Season 1, all the characters from that they built up in that season appear at the end to fight Infinity Ultron. Season 2, they use less characters. We get Hela, we get Kahori, we get Captain Carter as they built up those characters in season 2. Here, they built up none of these characters that return. We get Captain Carter, which makes sense. She is the main character in What If. She's been in the most episodes. Makes sense. We get Kahori. I wish she had an episode. She was my favorite character from season 2, so I'm happy she's here. And she does fit as she was part of the multiversal Avengers from before. But then from here, I feel like the team starts to get shaky. We get Birdie, Howard the Duck, and Darcy's kid. Fuck that. We did not need them. And then we got Storm. I love Storm. I I liked her character here. Again, she would have had a great episode. What if Storm was the goddess of thunder? That would have been amazing. And I liked her here, but again, just didn't fit at all. It was cool. They did get the same voice actress from X-Men 97, but these characters don't fit. I mean, we could have gone Agatha. That would have made sense. Could have gone one of the robot Avengers. Could have even gotten the Hulk from that universe. That one would have fit so well considering he's now an outcast in his own world, and that fits the motif and theming. That would have been a great addition to the team. But instead, we just get these characters that haven't had a single episode that we're supposed to then care about. Birdie, I'm sorry, is my least favorite character. She just looks like David Bowie, and every single time she opens her mouth, I don't like what she's saying. It's never good. I like what they do to solve the problem in this episode by going back and getting an Infinity Ultron. I really like that. I like how Uatu is judged for interfering so often. I think the premise itself is good. It's just this team of characters just sucks.
Griffin's being too kind with this man. I was bored to shit. I wanted it to end. I didn't care about any one of these characters, particularly Captain Carter. Captain Carter's it's fucking annoying. She's hot. I'll give her that. But other than she's hot, it's kind of like Sydney Sweeney's character in fucking Madam Web. She's hot. I'll give her that. But fuck, fuck if I care about her character. I don't care about Captain Carter being the first Avenger, taking over Steve Rogers' place.
I like her
I'm
more.
telling you, there's a bunch of shit that we could that the shit. I just wanted it to end. I didn't like it. Didn't care for any of these characters, as Griff says. I don't understand why they all bunch up together and they do solve the problem, but who the fuck cares? Yeah, just fuck this episode. Ne Next episode, just pretty much the same as this one. What if? What if? Again, there's got to be at least 12, 15 people in that fucking writer's room. They're all well paid. This is the title you came up with? What if? What if?
It makes
Fuck out of
sense.
here.
It's the end. It's the last episode. I get it, but yeah, there's more of
If
the
we get another
same.
season of this shit,
We're
I'm gonna be
not.
mad.
I would be mad
I'm,
too. They've said so many times, one more watch. This is it. But yeah,
yeah,
episode eight's the same as episode 7.
it's exactly the same.
It's this
It's
yeah,
lame.
it's same exact issues. It's nothing better. I mean,
I don't care about any of these characters. I don't care about the premise. I was bored, and really, if I was looking at the clock in episode 7, I really was like, I remember last night Griff was like, comes out at so and so. It's probably going to be like an hour long.
I'm so
The
glad it
only
wasn't.
th- the only thing that made me happy about this fucking episode was that it was 30 minutes long.
Yeah, absolutely.
Had this been an hour, that would have made it worse.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how they could have extended this shit for an hour. What
Yeah.
if season 3? Fucking balls.
It is. But we do have some what if ideas of our own. And in the comments, let us know what if ideas you have. I mean, starting off, I already said it. I mean, it felt like an episode should have been What if Storm was the goddess of thunder? She wields Mjolnir in the final two episodes. I feel like that episode was written for her. It was cut for some stupid reason.
To
That
put
would
in
have been
the
great.
Riri Williams one.
Yeah, like even having Riri Williams in the final four people would have been good. Just at least because that she was built. But I would have loved to have an episode just for Storm, especially since in X-Men '97 we saw the Watcher in a few episodes, and yet there was no X-Men episode whatsoever. But then why was the Watcher in X-Men '97?
Because the writers suck.
He was there for a reason. We've yet to see the reason. I felt like it was going to be here. I wish we saw at least an X-Men episode. We saw X-Men characters, which was cool, but not anything substantial. But perhaps my biggest what if that I would want, and I don't know why they didn't do this because it's super easy.
Because they suck.
Yeah. What if Uncle Ben didn't die? What if Peter never learned about responsibility? That I think would have been a great
Could you
Spider-Man
imagine a
episode.
dark Spider-Man and not that
Yeah.
stupid lame ass Tobey Maguire lame emo dance one, but like an actual just the
More of
not not like
like a Red
not like
Hood style Spider-Man.
yeah, not like
Would have been
not
good.
like evil because he wouldn't have a reason to be because his uncle's
Yeah.
still
Just like an
around. But if his
anti-hero sort of thing.
yeah, it's just a dick kid with all that
Yeah.
power without knowing what it's like to, have responsibility for it. That'd
He
be really
probably
cool.
I'm fairly certain I'd know what he would do. He'd probably continue like making money off of his powers and he would become rich, vain, and arrogant.
You'd
That's
be
exactly what happened.
fucking
He'd be a
Norman
showman.
Osborn,
Yeah. He'd be a
but
showman.
smarter. What if, and I just pitched this to Griff, but like we are huge Daredevil fans, probably myself more, and we love Karen Page. What Deborah Ann Wool, because in the comics she's just lame. But what if, Karen Page, they already know each other, they're already working at Nelson and Murdoch, but what if Karen Page got the chemicals spilled into her and she became Daredevil? What if Reed Richards was the dickhead and Victor
Yeah.
Von Doom was actually a really nice guy and he marries Susan Storm? Victor Von Doom is, you guys got after us, but he is smarter than Reed Richards. It's just his ego gets in the way. What if that didn't happen? What if he was the good guy and Reed
Yeah.
was the villain?
I mean,
That'd
what
be
if
really cool to see because, Doctor, man, I really hope they get him right this time.
I hope so too. I mean, we saw like a comic accurate Doctor Doom costume in the last two episodes, which was kind of nice. But I mean, these episodes are so easy. You just need to make it super simple. Like, what if Iron Man never got captured in Afghanistan? He never learned. World never got Iron Man. It just makes things super simple. Not if what if fucking Darcy had an egg baby? It's
Yeah, nobody cares
stay
about shit like
simple,
that, man.
change one tiny thing, move from there. You don't need these huge things. They had a couple episodes that did fit the simple premise, but they still
But
kind
they
of
fucked it
spiral
up.
from there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please let us know what you thought about season 3 of What If you did watch it. Thank you guys so much. Leave a like and subscribe. And if you enjoyed this video, go check out our Everything You Need to Know About Spider-Man video where we cover everything you need to know about Spider-Man, everything from his origins, powers, weaknesses, and must read and must watches.
Take care, guys. Happy New Year's.